We often tell ourselves a simple story that we tamed the wild world, domesticated animals, and bent nature to our will. But the truth is far more complex. The relationship between species is a negotiation, not a conquest. The real question isn't how we tamed them, but what bargain did we strike? And who truly domesticated whom? Our story begins tens of thousands of years ago, in the cold of the last ice age. Our ancestors huddled around fires, surrounded by dangers and the howls of wolves, rivals for the same prey. To invite that sound closer would have seemed madness. Yet something extraordinary was about to happen, an alliance that would change both species forever. It began with small gestures, a piece of meat tossed into the dark, a curious glance. These were the first steps in a long dance of coevolution. The story of our animal companions is not just about human ingenuity, but animal intelligence and trust. Today, we see dogs and cats as part of our daily lives, forgetting the wildness that still flickers in their eyes. To understand them, and ourselves, we must return to that ancient campfire. We must watch the shadows at the edge of the light, and listen for the soft footfall of an animal about to make a choice that would reshape both our destinies. This is where our shared journey truly begins. Picture the prehistoric night. Firelight pushing back darkness, humans wrapped in furs, and wolves watching from the shadows. Not all wolves were the same. The aggressive ones were driven off. The fearful ones fled. But some wolves, curious, cautious, hungry, lingered at the edge. These wolves possessed a unique temperament, a willingness to approach without attacking or running. They began to follow human hunting parties, learning that leftovers meant survival. Humans, in turn, gained an early warning system. Wolves could sense danger before humans could. This was not yet partnership, but a practical arrangement, two species tolerating each other for mutual benefit. The wolves that learned to follow, but not interfere, thrived. They became the first professional scavengers of human society. No one gave commands, no one demanded obedience. It was simply two species, learning to coexist around the warmth of the campfire. Their territories overlapped, and their destinies began to intertwine. This was the first filter in the long process of domestication. The wolves that stayed close, but not too close, set the stage for everything that followed. The dance had begun. Over generations, this association left its mark. The wolves that thrived near humans passed on their genes. Tameness became an advantage. The boldest, most tolerant wolves got more food, lived longer, and had more pups. Slowly the wolf was changing. Shorter snouts, floppier ears, wagging tails. This wasn't about breaking spirits, but rewarding a certain kind of spirit. The proto-dog was not a servant, but an ally, an animal that chose to align its fate with ours. These early dogs became less fearful, more attuned to human cues, and more willing to cooperate. They began to help in the hunt, complementing human skills with their own. The relationship deepened, moving from loose association to true partnership. Early dogs were free to come and go, but they stayed because life with humans was better than life in the wild. They received protection, food, and a social structure they understood. In return, humans gained loyal companions and vigilant guardians. The first dogs were not created by deliberate breeding. They domesticated themselves. They saw an opportunity and took it, becoming something new. They were not lesser wolves, but wolves who found a new way to thrive. And in doing so, they taught us how to live with another species, not as masters, but as partners. For years, this story was hidden in fragments of bone and earth. But archaeological discoveries reveal the depth of our bond with dogs. In ancient Germany, a grave holds 2 humans and 2 dogs, one an old animal, the other a sick pup that survived only through human care. This was not a working animal, but a companion, a member of the family. The deliberate burial of dogs with humans speaks volumes about our emotional connection. In Israel, a 12,000-year-old tomb shows a human cradling a puppy, a final gesture of affection. Across the world, dogs are found buried with care, with grave goods and collars. These were not just wolves at the camp's edge, they were dogs part of us. This evidence pushes the timeline of domestication deep into the Ice Age, before farming or settled villages. The bond between human and dog is one of the oldest relationships in our history. It predates civilization itself. Our partnership with dogs was not a byproduct of civilization, it was one of its foundations. The story of the dog is a story of shared survival and mutual transformation. It is a testament to the power of trust between species. The dog was not just tamed, it was welcomed into the human heart. And that bond endures to this day. The story of the cat is different. It begins much later, with the dawn of agriculture in the Fertile Crescent. Humans settled, grew grain, and built granaries, creating a paradise for rodents. For humans, this was a disaster. For the African wildcat, it was an opportunity. The wildcat was a solitary, independent hunter, not a social animal like the wolf. It had no interest in our company, only in the mice infesting our grain stores. The wildcat moved in, drawn by the abundance of prey. Early farmers watched these hunters with relief. Here was an animal solving their biggest problem. The cats established territories in villages, hunting rodents without any training or encouragement. Humans tolerated their presence, perhaps even left out scraps to encourage them to stay. This was not a partnership, but a contract of mutual convenience. The cat solved a problem. Humans provided a safe environment. It was an unspoken agreement between 2 very different species. Nowhere was this arrangement more pronounced than in ancient Egypt. Cats became essential guardians of the granaries, vital to the Egyptian way of life. Egyptians revered cats as divine protectors, associating them with gods like Bastet. Harming a cat was a grave crime. Families mourned and mummified their cats. Vast cemeteries of mummified cats show the depth of this respect. Yet the Egyptians did not fundamentally change the cat. Genetic studies show ancient cats were nearly identical to wild cats. Unlike dogs, cats remained essentially wild, independent, solitary, and unchanged. The cat struck the perfect bargain. It received safety and food simply by being itself. Side by side, the stories of dog and cat reveal two paths to domestication. The dog's journey is one of partnership, changing body and mind to join the human pack. The dog seeks guidance, approval and companionship, thriving on cooperation. The cat's journey is one of independence, moving into a niche we created, but never surrendering its wildness. The cat offers presence and pest control, but not obedience. In our homes, the dog greets us with joy, eager to please. The cat greets us on its own terms, expecting us to please it. These two paths created two very different animals, each with a unique role in our lives. The dog is our loyal partner, the cat our independent housemate. We didn't get one pet. We formed alliances with two nations, each with its own rules. Our homes are the territory where these ancient treaties are still honoured. Every day we live with the legacy of these two ancient bargains. Modern science lets us read these ancient stories in our animals' DNA. For dogs, genetic changes are dramatic, affecting brain function, sociability, and even the ability to digest starch. Some genes linked to friendliness in humans are also found in dogs, making them naturally drawn to us. Dogs were shaped by thousands of years of favouring the friendliest wolves. The cat's genome tells a subtler story. The main changes are in genes for memory, fear, and learning from rewards. Cats became less fearful and more tolerant of humans, but remain mostly wild at heart. The DNA confirms it. Dogs transformed to join us. Cats made minimal changes to exploit a new niche. One animal reshaped itself for partnership. The other simply allowed us into its world. The blueprint of domestication is written in their very bones. So, who really domesticated whom? With dogs, it was mutual. Wolves took the first step, and we changed alongside them. Our success is tied to the dog that chose to walk with us. With cats, the story is different. They may have domesticated us. They solved our rodent problem and trained us to provide for them. The cat's strategy was subtle, but brilliantly successful. Today, our pets are living legacies of ancient bargains. The dog is the echo of a wolf that offered loyalty for a place in our pack. The cat is the echo of a wild hunter that graced us with its presence. Our bond with them is a continuation of that ancient negotiation, a reminder that we are partners in a complex web of life. In every quiet moment we still feel the truth of that first tentative meeting by the fire.